Well, hello. Welcome to today's speech. My name is Joseph Figueroa. Today I will be talking to you about homelessness and the issue that we have in this country and in rural Arizona. Currently, I work as a mental health professional, so I've done that for a few years. I've also done law enforcement as a surveillance officer. So that in both of those professions, I've dealt a lot with the homeless community as they utilize a lot of emergency services, public health services, um, law enforcement services, and mental health services. So I've gotten quite a bit of done quite a bit of work with this community. So that's kind of where I draw my experience from. And so I want you to consider a quote from Sister Mary, who runs Project Home out of Philadelphia. They are an agency who works with their local homelessness community. And so I want this kind of running in the back of your mind. She says, "None of us are home until all of us have a home." And so again, none of us are home unless all of us have a home. And so homelessness is a prevalent and increasingly a reoccurring social problem in this country. In this speech, I'll present to you the problem of homelessness in the United States. I'll explain how the current ways of addressing that are ineffective, and you know, my intention is to convince you that my solution that I will propose to you today is the solution for that problem, and convince you that the current ways of going about that are ineffective and immoral. So first, I'd like to highlight the problem. So the National Alliance to End Homelessness provides a graph detailing the current rates of homelessness right now. They did a report over the last 10 years. I don't know if you can take a look at this graph here. So from 2010 to 2019, 2019, we were at 550,000 homelessness cases. We're in 2020 now. I think that was the last time they did the report. We're now north of 580. So you want to take a look at this chart here. Wow. So this is, you'll see the increase. And so it used to be a problem that the country just considered an issue amongst single men. As time went on, they discovered, no, this affects families. This is women and children, veterans, military veterans. And so this problem started around after the World War I time. At that point, after World War I, we had 1.2 million homeless cases. After World War I, the Franklin Roosevelt administration, that was the first time they delegated any kind of finances to dealing with that. The issue was that it dealt with food, shelter, but it still didn't leave anything for permanent housing. And so then it wasn't until Kennedy and Carter's administration where now they get the mental health portion. But then following that, you had Reagan, did away with all that. And not only did he do that, he was the leader of criminalizing it and stigmatizing it. And so that compounded the issue. And so, Bush comes in and does housing first. Obama expands that, and it leads to a 6.2 decrease. But Trump comes in, and with COVID, once again, undid the progress that was made. And so that seesaw is kind of how it's been addressed. And so if you're wondering how this concerns you, for the taxpayer, the current way that they deal with it now costs the taxpayer between $32,000 and $50,000 per person, per taxpayer. And so the solution I'll propose to you will lead to a 50% decrease over time in that financial measure. And so my 5-point plan I have, my first one is just to decriminalize mental health. People should not be criminalized for being sick. People should not be criminalized for being sick or penalized for not having a home, those social issues. And so number two, I would make it that there's permanent funding for those housing. That way you're not dealing with that seesaw effect from the administration. It'd be one permanent funding for homelessness. My third part of that plan would be to continue to build public subsidized homes for this community. And along with that, the economic portion, depending on cost of living, you would have a base rate of income for those who are homeless, those who are in need of those services. So between $500 to $1,000 per person, depending, again, cost of living, depending on the communities that they're in. And so also, because these people are high utilizers for the system, which can also drain from the rest of the public, I would also have separate, it wouldn't be labeled any different, but you have separate hospitals that could be used for high needs utilizers, and then the rest of the public. That way everyone has everyone gets their needs met in a dignified way and in a timely manner. And so I believe those solutions, I believe that would solve the issue that we have in this country permanently. And as for the taxpayer, how it would affect you is that it would reduce the amount that we pay from that it was slashed at 50%. So we're going from $30,000 to $50,000 per taxpayer to now we're talking about 10 to 15 for a permanent solution. And again, going back to the comment before, none of us are home until all of us are home. At this point, all of us would have a home. You would be addressing mental health, be addressing homelessness, and we would have a country, that's environmentally healthy, socially healthier, and it will feel like all of us have that one home. So I want you to join me in thinking about a future where everyone has their needs taken care of, everyone has a home, a roof over their head, and think about what that would do, what kind of environment that would create for all of us. And so join me in believing that we can have a better world. Thank you for your time.